timer on a debate?
Okay, get there.
Because I don't want to sit here and listen to a fucking 2-hour debate about niggas bullshitting, bro. I'm like, dead ass is what half this tournament is just niggas bullshitting. So I'm not gonna listen to 2 hours of that shit.
Then that's
retarded.
your job as a judge to call them out on their bullshit. No,
No, I'll let these niggas have their own arguments or whatever. I think it's on the debaters themselves to call out bullshit. But
no one's listening
Yeah,
along
but
the in general, bro.
yeah, that's
Wait,
what
no bullshit, because I know, but you weren't being
yeah,
sarcastic
never
when
mind.
you
I'll
said
just
there's no
be.
rules outside the 50 minutes,
I'm an
right,
old
Tigger?
lad. I'll just be.
Tigger,
Wait, what's up?
you weren't trolling when you said that there's no rules outside the 50-minute. Like, we can scale wherever we want. No hex restrictions, like none of that.
Yeah, there's nothing against any of that shit. Yeah, there's nothing like you guys can do whatever. I don't really even care what tiering system you guys use or whatever, right? If you want to argue about fucking what tiering system matters for over 50 minutes or whatever, and that be your dumbass debate, bro. The only thing that matters is that it's within the 50 minutes time limit. I don't really care what the hell you guys really do inside the debate. I don't really care.
All right, cool. All right, but
What are these scans?
Let me get a couple of my scans real quick,
To go,
so I don't waste time on them. Then we can start off. Wait, what we do start? You want me to start? Or you want to start scaling?
It don't matter to me, bro. I mean, I'd rather go first, but you go first, bro. I don't care that much.
I mean, if you rather go first, nigga, you can go. Nigga, I don't want to go the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So let me get my scans down.
I'm not starting right now, though. Just to be clear, I just want to get my scans real quick. So when you are, sorry, I'm don't want to waste time. Matter of fact, yo, Ichi, you in this bitch. Yo, Ichi, send me I'm gonna send you a skin I want.
Okay,
Shut
so
up, nigga.
You
wait,
should
no, I
be
got
on
wrong
the
scan.
Shiki. Ichi, you know the Shiki scan that. Actually, I'm gonna just say it right now, just in case I don't go. Ichi, you have the scan of like whatever Shiki perceives as like alive, like her hex applies to.
Yeah, I got you.
The Mystic Eyes of Death Perception.
Yep.
Yeah, I should have that.
Send that to me in DMs, and I think I should have all the scans. All right, yeah, we could start. It's pretty much all scanned in.
Okay, so I'm using like DM Tamakii, and basically I'm just like started off as saying like, wait, where's scan chat? There you go. Holy shit! What did? Oh no, that's y'all guys. All right, so basically, my character, he can just build, he can just make any character he wants, imaginable. Imaginable is like up to me because I am the same character. So anything I can imagine, like, can be imposed in the thing, right? So if I want to make a character that has all the hacks of Goku or something like that, that could be something he can make within the verse, right? It's like super consistent. Like that's how the character works. If you want more scans or you want to read a scan, put it in chat, etc., etc.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it. In DnD, only limited your imagination with the help of DnD's Beyond Digital Character Builder. In character sheets, you can build a character in seconds. All right, cool. And this is, just to be clear, part of the game, or is this like a website? This looks like a website.
Yeah, it is the website, but like the game, like DnD, is like.
Oh, it's like PC.
No, it's not. It's a PC. It's like a tabletop game. It's like a game. It's like the most nerd game of all time, right? Niggas like you get a dungeon master. He like invents his own scenario where he wants, right? It's like role play. It's literally just role play. Right?
Okay, well, I think Shiki would be beyond your imagination. I think like anyone higher dimensional in and of itself would already be beyond human imagination. So, don't really think the text would apply to 140 over.
Wait, what happened?
I said I don't think the statement would apply to anyone 4D or over.
Why would it not apply anything 40 or over? I think it applies to like. I don't think it matters like
beyond
what character.
Human imagination. They're beyond human imagination. Like, you said that you are your character. You're a 3D being beyond you.
Would you say is beyond your imagination as well?
Yep.
Because how would you
imagine it that I could describe it?
What?
You can't imagine it that you could describe it.
You can't describe, because if you can't imagine it, I don't know how you could like describe something.
Okay, when I say imagine, I'm talking about like a visualization of said thing, right? So I can't visualize the fourth dimensional axes because the only thing that I could visualize that would need a reference point for it in reality. For example, let's say that I were to imagine a unicorn. What I would do is I would take the properties of a horse and like a pointy object or whatever the fuck, and I'd slap that on top of a horse. But when we're talking about things that are higher dimensional, since there's no reference point for what another axis looks like, since everything that I perceive is inherently bounded by 3 dimensions, I couldn't imagine a fourth dimensional axis.
So you're trying to say, hold up. So you're trying to say like, okay, so we can't like actually like imagine it, but we could just like describe his property, like what higher character's properties would have and stuff like that. Is basically what you're saying, or
I could describe like attributes that would be
Yeah, like its properties
assigned to
of
like
like
higher dimensional properties.
what
Right?
a higher dimensional character would have.
But I could really only describe it via like negatives, right? So like I could say it's not, for example, length, or it's not width. It's beyond, like it's just going to be reduced to like negatives or whatever. It's not really something I could affirm an actual for, because obviously that in and of itself would also require a reference point, right? Like I can't say like, for example, a fourth dimensional property has what you call like length, but I could say that like the only thing that I could affirm as a positive in my opinion is just the fact that it's bounded by space in some way, because that's just going to be denotive of the fact of it being a dimension. But outside of that, I really don't see any other positive you could affirm exists for like a fourth dimensional axis.
Yeah, and that's like, okay. The trying to say just I'm just trying exactly what you're saying, bro. Like you're saying we can't visualize that thing, but what we can do is talk about its properties or like a description of what it is via only negatives. Is what you're saying?
Pretty
Or
much,
am I
yeah.
tripping? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how would like, could you give me like, for example, you said your character is beyond human imagination or whatever, and would be beyond your imagination and mine's. So how would you go about like describing that character or like arguing him within a debate?
Yeah, so like let's say that we were to have like a higher dimensional character, right? By definition, you would agree that like fourth dimensional would be unbounded by three dimensional axes, right? It's outside of that, transcendent of that.
The fourth dimension would be unbounded. I don't think a fourth dimension would be unbounded by it. I think it would have three axes and the extra one is on top of it, right?
No, that's not what I mean. I mean like if you have four dimensions, you would be unbounded comparatively to somebody that has three dimensions, right? Because you're outside of them in some capacity.
I think they
Like
have an
some
extra
aspect of
axis
your
of
existence
movement
would
compared
be.
to one of a third dimension.
Yeah, I
Right?
agree, but I'm saying that extra axis of movement is the thing that would put you outside of the three axes of movement, right? You're unlimited in the way that they are. So you would be outside of their
Yeah, they have it.
protection.
Yeah, they would be unlimited in a way that they can move a different direction than ones below it. Yeah, that's what I agree with.
Yeah,
Unless you're not
that's all
trying
I'm
to say that.
saying.
Okay,
But
okay, yeah.
yeah, that's all I'm saying. Yeah. So I'm saying, let's say that we were to describe how these characters were to interact, right? I could say that via the fact that I know that you can only perceive things that have these three dimensional axes, that you would not be able to perceive like the fourth dimension or whatever, because that's just something that's going to be denotative. That's just by definition. So that's like a way that I could describe like an interaction between these two beings, despite of the fact that I could only reduce down the fourth dimension to negatives.
I mean, what I was trying to really get into is like, since you said your character like would transcend your imagination and stuff, like what is the scaling for your character? Also, do you even have the scan like she is
No, I'm not
beyond like
saying.
imagination either?
I'm not even limiting Shiki to higher dimensional. I think that she's universal bare minimum. But I'm
No,
saying that
I'm
like
talking about on the higher that she's beyond your imagination thing that you talking about.
you said Shiki. I said Shiki's beyond human imagination.
Yeah, you said your character is beyond there, right?
No. Well, no, I'm saying that should be beyond your imagination. So, like I said that this hex wouldn't apply to anyone. I said this hex wouldn't apply to anyone that's higher dimensional, or skills higher than higher dimensional, so like outer versal tier. And I think that Shiki's outer. So I don't
I
think
think
that
it applies to any tier because if it's just based on my imagination in real life and I know like all the tiering system, or I could just literally just make a character and just slap on the tiering system definition on top of it, and that character would just be
yeah,
put
but I
forth
already
in reality,
explained
right?
why. Like, I already explained why. Like, what you call it? You could describe any character, whatever the fuck, but I don't think you could imagine any character truly. I think you
I mean,
just understand these characters through
yeah,
descriptions.
but the point of the role play is like I describe what the character is, right? And it would be put forth, right? Like you could have
Okay,
characters
so is the
inside the
statement
metaverse
description or is the
or
statement
beyond human
imagination?
imagination.
Which one is it?
You said what?
Is the statement description or imagination? Because these two things are literally just different by definition. So if you could show me that,
Well, I
if you
can
could show me that in
imagine
the
descriptions,
game,
right? But me saying it and putting it into like writing it down.
you can visualize the description, like as in what?
I mean, well, for me to like know or describe the word, I will have to know what the word is, which is a part of my
Yeah, you
imagination,
can know
right?
you can know what the word is, but I'm saying that imagination. When people say imagination, they're referencing the visualization aspect of the mind, right? Like you could understand things through many different ways. When you understand something via imagination, that's a specific application. So I think that what you're doing is you're equivocating between the word understanding and imagination, which I would just deny.
I mean, I don't think when people like use imagination, it only means they have to visualize something. Like imagination could just be like words you're talking about and stuff, right? Like you can
Yeah, we
imagine.
just disagree. So could you prove that?
Yeah, let's put imagination actually. What that means? Let me pull it. Holy shit, I can't spell.
The facility or action of forming new ideas or images or concepts.
Midnite,
All right, let me see. You sent the scan?
Yeah, I was asking if you meant this one.
Nah, it's an author statement. Well, let me read this one. But the one I'm talking about is an author statement. You're flushing very close. Okay, so ever since Earth was created, Voidshiki's different. Can kill even entity like you. That's okay for that. No, I'm not talking about that scan. But if you could find the one that's like an author statement, if you go to like Shiki and you go to the Nasuverse wiki or Type wiki, whatever the fuck it's called, you can probably find it there.
Okay. Yeah, that's imagination is like the action of forming new ideas or imagine or concept of external objects not present to the senses, right? So basically, it's not only visual things. It could just be like new ideas or concepts. For example, like describing said things, or like, for example, I can't really say I can imagine something I don't know, right? But if I know what the word means, or for example, the theory system, and we know what like out-of-versal entails via the theory system, if that's what I'm guessing you're using to say your character
Yeah,
is
that's just
out-of-versal.
presupposing understanding. Like, where in the definition of imagination are you getting descriptions as inclusive of it?
Or in the description, well, I think, well, I was just talking about, like, for example, new ideas or concepts external to that's not senses. Like, for example, when that's what I was, holy shit, I'm sorry, my fault. Like when I say new ideas, it's like new things I can't imagine, right? So what I was saying, like,
What you mean? What does it?
like since
Can you
I
get the
know what the
definition?
theory system entails, right, is an idea that would be within my imagination. Like, I understand the
Well, as I
idea
said,
of the theory
obviously,
system or out-of-versal.
obviously you would say that, right? Because that's going to be in line with your definition. I'm saying, is that what Oxford would appeal to when they say ideas? I'll just pull it up. Oh,
What idea means is what you're trying to say?
yeah, like obviously you're going to define ideas in a way that's going to be inclusive of your interpretation of the word imagination. So I'm going to just pull up the definition of ideas. A thought or suggestion to be possible, course of action, aim or purpose. Let's see what a thought is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes along with what I'm saying, right? It's like our suggestion of like what out-of-versal would entail via the theory system of how to describe said thing.
Suggestion of what out-of-versal would entail. What do you think?
Well, yes, but
What?
because if you're saying we don't understand what out-of-versal is because we can't visualize
You
it,
understand that
but
when they say suggested,
we
they're
can
talking
understand
about
what it
like
is
the
via the
moral, like
definition of its
they're talking
descriptive
about the moral
factors.
application, bro. They're talking about like what you should do. Like I could suggest a course of action, for example. I could suggest a course of action, for example, of what you should do to achieve like X goal. They're not talking about suggestion as in like a way that you describe a property, not like an object. Like what?
I mean, I don't really think that's mutually exclusive because you could have a suggestion to a course of action based on what it means, right? You read something, it's like like a direction, like you should do this, right? So it's like
Right. And what does
suggested
that have
that
to
you
do with
should
the
do
description?
said
We're talking
thing,
about
right? It's
descriptions
not
right
really
now.
moral. It's just like based on what you're reading, this is what it
No, it
suggests
literally
a
inherently
thing
is
should
moral
be.
because we both agree that they're talking about a course of action that you should take, right? So it's talking about what you call like that's literally it's a moral claim. We're talking about what you ought do and what you ought not do.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it doesn't really go against what I'm saying because if you were to read like a rule book or something or directions, it'd be like, okay, turn left, right? So it's suggesting you turn left and just based off what turn left entails. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Or like, I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
okay. Wait, just to make sure I understand what you're saying. You're trying to say that because of the fact that to make prescriptions, you need to have a description of the prescription that like the concept of a description is inclusive of it. Therefore, like it would apply to like your thing, right? You're
Uh,
saying that like you gave an example, like in a rule book, right? A rule book would say you should do this or go left, go right, etc., right? And you're saying that these things would be descriptions, and because they are descriptions, it would be inclusive of the scan that you sent, right?
sure.
Okay, right. So obviously, yes, prescriptions also are gonna like invoke some level of description in there, but we're talking about describing properties versus describing a course of action. That's why I said that's a prescriptive thing, not a descriptive thing. So when I say that, I hate this cold. So when I say that like your scan wouldn't what you call include like the descriptive aspect of like Shiki, I'm saying that the light novel gives Shiki certain properties, right? Like it says, for example, like she's beyond the concepts of space and time. Obviously, like the servants are described to be like beyond the concepts of distance, etc. But none of these scans are prescriptions, right? Like we're not saying that the servants should do something because of the fact that this is the case. So when we have prescriptions, right, you're taking like descriptive properties of the world, and from that we decide like what you should and shouldn't do based off of what function you're trying to reach. So I don't think that like just because a rule book or the concept of like a prescription entails or encompasses the concept of a description, that just because something is prescribed that it's described. Like I don't see the argument for that.
Not like you repeat that, bro.
Midnight check in.
Yeah. I'm not reading. I got too much to read right now. But What you said? You want me to repeat it?
Yeah.
Okay, I said, so yeah, I agree that like the concept of a prescription holds descriptive like claims inside of it, right? Because obviously if I'm gonna tell you to do something, I'm describing something to you, right? So yes, I agree that to some extent, to make a prescription, you need to make a description. But what I'm saying is that when I say that the concept of that wouldn't be inclusive of like imagination, I'm talking about describing like a level of power that Shiki has. I'm saying that that description would not be inclusive of the statement. Because remember, the reason why we're talking about this right now is because we're talking about the word suggestion. So yes, this is the word suggestion in and of itself. It encompasses like the word description, but it's talking about description in a specific application. And the application that it would be talking about the word description would not apply to the situation that we're talking about, like power scaling, because the type of description that they're talking about there is the type of description that say that you ought do this action or ought not do another action. So when you look at the, because remember we're going down like the whole semantical rabbit hole to see whether or not my character would be inclusive of the statement. And you're appealing to the word suggestion to prove this. So the word suggestion there does not prove it because it's talking about a specific sub application of the word description, in which does not apply to this current situation. You know what I'm trying to say?
Kinda. I mean, I'm just mostly trying to say like, if we're using like the definition you're saying, like the way the definition is used only for more applications, not necessarily applications of power scaling, because they're talking about like you should do this because it's good or bad, compared to like a descriptive factor for it, like you transcend space and time before out of versal, right? Is that basically like a
I
summary?
repeat that.
Like you're saying, like the let me pull it up. Like the definition of imagination, of idea is like is applicable only to moral applications, like what's good or bad or what you should do, not applicable into like a descriptive way of like power scaling. Like for
The
example, if
word
your character.
suggestion, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's basically what you're trying to say, right? Like, am I getting it?
Yeah, for the word suggestion specifically, yeah, that's what I was saying that for.
I mean, I get.
And
I
if
mean,
that's
I
the
guess,
case,
but
then
I think
if that's
it's
the
just
case, then
entailed with
idea
it. Like,
doesn't.
I understand what you're saying, but I think like the fact like we could imagine like a course of action based on descriptions itself, because the whole point you say is like descriptions things are something to imagine, right? Because if you can't imagine what a description is, then you can't determine a course of action because you can't understand what a description they're trying to suggest towards you, right? Which would be applicable to a power scan as well. But also like on top of that, like this is gonna be like 2 points, I guess. Like for
But
out
that's
of
kind
verse
of just
stuff, I
repeating
don't
the
really
first
think
point,
anything
though.
on the theory system is necessarily beyond human imagination as well. Like for example, like out of versa is like characters who are beyond the con space and time and dimensions, and so they'd be like aspatial intemporal things, like like concepts would be, and I don't think like concepts are necessarily things outside your imagination, right?
Okay, well, all of that's gonna just basically the foundation that you need for both of those points to work are the same. So it could just detect the foundation, both of those points will follow the same. That's just gonna be contingent upon your interpretation of the word. What was it? Imagination, right? So the whole reason why we're talking about this in the first place is because I said prove that the definition of imagination is inclusive of descriptions for power scaling, right? So then I said that my interpretation of the word imagination would be referencing some sort of like visualization of a thing, right? I agreed that you can understand things outside of just imagining something. So I could understand these things through like descriptions, which is why I could debate and like understand why Shiki beats your character. But I can't imagine Shiki in the sense that I can't make a visualization of like a higher dimensional entity in its fullness inside of my head. So that's why I said to prove that your interpretation of the word imagination is true, because if that is the case, then obviously description would also be inclusive of that. So what we did is we went to the definition of imagination. That pretty much went down the rabbit hole. We got to the definition of idea, and now you're using the word suggestion to prove your point. I pretty much went through why I don't think the word suggestion proves your point. You pretty much just repeated what you said before that. So for the judge, I'll just pretty much repeat it. If Tamakii wants to add something new or thinks he respond to what I said, we can just move on. I said I don't think that the definition that Tamakii is appealing to here proves this point because of the fact that suggestion would just be like a moral claim. So yes, I agree that it encompasses the concept of a description, but it's a specific sub application of a description which does not apply to the situation. If Tamakii thinks he already responded to my point, because that's pretty much just me repeating myself, we can just move on to the next line of scaling. What's up
Uh,
to you, Tamakii?
I mean, I think like we can move on, but I just have a question about the second part I said, where I said like, because the whole point of how we got here, from my understanding at least, right, is that you said like four-dimensional stuff or like higher dimensional stuff or out of versal or things beyond human imagination, and I kind of like put forth a thing where I don't think like some of those like a lot of Tyrion isn't really above human imagination necessarily. Like for example, out of versal and like out of versal are like concepts, right? Like ideas because they're aspatial, atemporal, and I don't really think concepts are outside imagination because imagination, from what I know at least, is like ideas, and ideas are like beyond time and space, right? well, some concepts should be, right?
Okay.
Or do you think that falls back to what you said earlier? Because if you think then I would.
Yeah, we'll come back because are you just saying like you're appealing to like the fact that the word idea is inside the definition of imagination, right?
Yeah, like abstract ideas, yeah, like
forming new ideas or images or concepts, right? That.
Yeah, but yeah.
What I'm saying is there's different ways that you could form out the word idea. So that's why I went to the definition of idea earlier, and I said that the one that would be appealed to in that specific context would just be suggestions. And then that's when it came back to what I said earlier. So that's why I said it would just come back to your interpretation of these words and how they're being applied.
I'm pretty sure we got to like the suggestion thing because I was saying like not necessarily like the second point I made, but the first point I made where I said like you could like imagine like descriptions, right? Instead of like it's like when you imagine anything in general, you always have like an out of verso thought in your head because thoughts are out of verso via ideas.
I agree that you could imagine. I agree that you could imagine descriptions, but when I say that, I mean it in the sense that you could imagine like the words themselves, but nothing beyond that. Like I could make a visualization, for example, of the letter V inside of my head, or I could make a visualization inside of my head of like a sentence, right? So in a way, yes, you could imagine descriptions, but what I'm talking about is like the actual moving from like the description to like the actual, right? Because I'm not focusing on the words themselves. Obviously, when I say that Shiki beats your character, I'm not saying it's the case because of the fact that like the author wrote down Shiki is beyond the concepts of space and time. I'm saying Shiki beats your character because of the fact that those words are written on the page, and I believe that those words have actual meaning that corresponds with the plot of the series, right? So again,
but if that's the case, then I don't know why I can't like really just make my character have the same thing. Because what the scan says is like there's other scans I didn't really post, but like for example, like the DM is like the guy who like makes up the stories and stuff, right? So I could just make my own narrative, right? And whatever scan you have for your character, I could just make a narrative and add the exact same argument within the same story.
It would just come back to imagination.
Well, that's just like me make a narrative, which is like the same person, like the guy or lady, whoever made it, Fate, did the same thing for your character, right? So I don't really see what the difference is. Because if I just make a story, right, a whole narrative book, right, or literally copy the exact storyline as your character, it would be like the exact same thing as the person did in real life, where they just put like, written down the description factors of the thing, and therefore using the same thing for scaling. Or do you think is different?
No, I already said I think it's different. I said because it's the case that again, okay, let me make sure that we're both on the same page. Like, let's just walk. I'm trying to find out where the disconnect is. So the definition of imagination: the facility or action of forming new ideas or images or concepts of external objects not present to the senses. You're saying because of the fact that the definition holds the word forming new ideas, that like the descriptive aspect would be there, right?
Yeah, like and also like suggestion, like, and then we already got to that what suggestion means.
So just to be clear, I already said when this is like the first thing that's in the debate. So I said that when they say imagination inside of the scan, I think that what they mean by that is the aspect of imagination in which is referencing the visualization of something, right? Then we went to like the definition of imagination to see which one of ours fit better, right? And that's why I said that the only way that you could justify your point off of the actual definition itself is off of the fact that the word ideas is there. Because outside of that, everything else on the screen fit my interpretation because they both were talking about the visualizations of a mental construct. But then when we went to the actual definition of ideas, what I'm saying is that it still doesn't wholeheartedly fit with your argument. So I'm saying strictly based off of what the definitions are on Oxford, I don't think that there's anything to support your point outside of the fact that you think this is just how the word works. Well, I think something else, and I'm going out to like an external third party to like verify one of our opinions. And I think so far I have all the evidence towards my side.
I mean, the main thing that like stuck out to me is the part where you said like when you said imagination inside of my scan is only something like visual. I mean, do you think if someone makes us like storytelling, it always has to be visual? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'd
like,
have to
understand what are you saying?
I have to know specifically how story making like DnD works. To, like answer that question in context. I don't know that, then I answer the question in its context.
Well, there's like different ways to storytell, but mostly of how it works is basically you have a dungeon master, and the dungeon master would be me, right? And let's say we just make a story up right now, right? So I'll be like, let's say me, you, and Tiga, and an Ichi, right? I'm like, okay, the story takes place inside the Dragon Ball universe, right? The year is 4000, and then you guys are walking through like downtown New York or something, right? That's like basically how the storytelling works. And it doesn't really need a visual per se, but basically it's just a person just describing what is happening into the thing, and then the other people describe what they want to do, right? Each would be like, I want to go shoot up some daycare or something, right? And then I'll be like, well, okay, roll 20 or something. Okay, you roll 1, you can't shoot up the daycare because your aim sucks. That's basically like the premise of like how D&D follows.
You roll
So, and
one
I do
to
have
go
the
to daycare. Okay, so it's like you type in a description
no, I don't
and
have to.
then it happens.
I don't have to type it in. I could just. I mean, I'm just saying for like making characters, you could type it in or make it up on spawn, right? Like the way I just formatted it in the VC is usually how it's played, right? I just kind of just say it.
Oh, okay. Wait, hold on, nigga. Is this that game that niggas be playing like on Discord?
Yeah, that's what Swoosh and them be playing and
Okay,
dreaming.
them nerd ass niggas. Okay, so pretty much like
The nerdiest
so it's not a
game.
game. You're telling me it's not a game that you actually play like on the PC, like it's something that people
No,
like speak.
yeah, that's what I said. It's a role playing game earlier.
Okay, so it's just role playing. Okay, then
Yeah.
nigga, what the fuck? Who's your character?
The dungeon master. Okay, the dungeon master is like the guy who like invents the story and everything, right? So that's
Okay,
me.
so it's like an actual nigga.
Yeah, that's why it says me. Like that's why I was saying like
Okay, I thought you meant that in such like a
I know what a
metaphor.
tier system is. So like
Okay.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
cool. I fully
Okay,
understand.
I guess I
Okay, so now
appreciate
keep going with your. Okay, so now that I thought it was a PC game this whole time.
I
So,
don't think there is.
what
Oh, I
you're, so
think
now
there's
what you're,
versions of it, but not the one I'm talking about.
now what you're trying to tell me. Okay, now in that context, say what you're trying to say again. I know this is fucking you.
Okay, yeah, I was just saying, like, for example, the build a character thing. I would just like, I could just like whatever argument you put forward, I could just make a character within D&D that would have the exact same scaling, if not stronger, right? Just instantly.
Okay,
That's basically
and then the
Mark
way that you would do that is via description, right?
realistic skin, as you say, right? So you put it in, and I would just like describe it within my story, right? Cause I make up all the worlds.
Okay, then I would just say like, we could turn this shit meta. Fuck it. I would just argue that your character doesn't have any sort of like actual property that exists within like a verse. Like there's no plot there.
What do you mean? There'd be no plot?
Yeah, like what is it corresponding to?
Like I'm kind of confused when you talk. What do you mean?
Yeah, like okay, what? Okay, for example, my characters, right? I can like verify via some sort of like source material, via some sort of canon that is corresponding to something, right? You're saying that like you can just make a character off the top of your head, and like whatever you do, it can just be equal to Shiki. So there's no like actual like foundation anywhere, right? It's just like whatever you say, correct?
Yeah, but all the stuff I say, it would be canon to D&D because
Okay,
all the worlds
so you
that
could
you have to make
so you
up
could
are
come
canon to lore.
so you can
Like
make a contradiction. So you can make a contradiction.
a contradiction, like what? Like
My character beats your character and doesn't beat your character. That would be true in D&D.
probably.
Okay, then I would just say I would just invoke the principle of explosion.
So what would, like what's the principal explosion? Can you, like,
Yeah,
explain
there's
that?
like there's no truth makers that you can make because of the fact that I can't believe I'm doing this. There's no statements that you can make that have any sort of truth makers or whatever, right? Because I could literally just like pretty much affirm both the affirmation and instigation at the same time. So if you were to say that you beat my character, for example, I would just say, okay, well, it's also true that you don't beat my character. There's no way to find any truth in this worldview.
I mean, I'm kind of confused how that's like really applicable. Because if you was, well, I don't really think there would be any scenario where like we have to get to the point where like your character beats my character or something. I think contradiction could exist in a sense for like,
Yeah, that's true, Tamakii, but it's, the opposite's also true. That's a problem.
yeah, I'm saying, but I don't think we ever like get to a point where that we have to make up the story or anything like that. I think usually how we like the
My
contradiction would
character
probably
wouldn't be
go
inside of your
or
story.
what the
It's
D&D
character
can
that's separate
do.
from my character,
My
but
bad?
it wouldn't be my character. I said my character would just be my character. My character exists independent of any plot. You can make a character that's very close to my character, right? But the fact is obviously the only Shiki Ryogi that I'm repping is specifically the Shiki Ryogi in which is licensed by what you call the Nasuverse or whatever. So specifically the Shiki that's inside of the mind of Nasu. I don't think that you and Nasu have a mind that's 1-1. So I don't think that you guys could ever imagine like the same Shiki to like the exact T. You guys are gonna disagree on something. So the Shiki inside of your
Well,
mind is
not
very
necessarily.
similar.
I could just say like whatever scaling you put down, I could just put it within the story exactly what you said,
The scaling, sure.
and
But
which
I'm
is
saying that
you're scaling your character would be the exact T because you're interpreting how strong Shiki would be,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So in some sort of hypothetical world, it is the case that you can have a character that's stronger than mine. But it's the vice versa is also true. Only true. You didn't specify a specific version of Dungeon
Well,
Master.
how
You
would the
said
vice
that
versa be?
what you
How would
said.
the vice versa be?
Hold on. You said that you're running Dungeon Master. You did not specify which Dungeon Master. There's
Yeah, Dungeon
thousands of
Master
Dungeon
Tamaki.
Masters inside of the
Yeah,
verse.
Dungeon Master Tamaki. That's why DM Tamaki
Well,
is me.
okay. Well, I'm also Dungeon Master. Dungeon Master Tamakii, nigga. I contradict you now. What? Shiki doesn't
What?
work. Yeah, my name is also Dungeon Master Tamakii. I affirm that Shiki beats your character. You affirm that this isn't the case. So now the principal explosion works. You didn't what you call specify
No,
which Dungeon
no,
Master
you're
Tamaki
different.
you're
You're
running.
a different Tamakii, but you're not me, not the king, bro. Like,
Okay, well, you didn't specify it would be your version of Dungeon Master Tamaki.
well, it's not
So.
my version. I tell you, be me as in me in real life, right? Which
As
is like the
you,
person
my name is
right
Dungeon
now.
Master. My name is Dungeon Master
But you
Tamaki,
can
and
say
also
you're
me
Dungeon
too.
Master Tamaki, but it doesn't go against what I'm telling you, like who I am. Like
Dungeon Master
like,
Tamaki, me.
you're
Who I
debating
am.
right now. You know what I
What do
mean?
these words mean?
You said
Yeah,
what?
I said I'm Dungeon Master Tamaki, me, who I am. All of those things that you just said also apply to me now.
The person you're trying to see? Are you saying you're debating yourself?
No, I'm
Like,
saying that I'm saying
that's
that
also an
both of us
attribute
have
I
the
put
same.
forward,
I'm
right?
saying that both of us. I'm saying that both of us have the same name. I'm not you, obviously, in terms of person, but
Oh, yeah,
you
but
only
I
said
put
the name. You
attribute
didn't
forward
specify
for why it would be different from
you're
Shredder, you
running.
know what I mean?
You said what?
So like you said the same, like you could say you said the same thing to me, like, oh, I'm the Master Maki, I'm me and stuff, right? But I'm also put forward that, I'm also the person you're debating, but you deny the fact that you're not debating yourself, so you can't be me, right? Because I am the one debating Midnite.
No,
You're
okay. I
trying to
said
say
I'm
the same
not.
thing.
Okay, you said inside of the tournament, the person that's debating is Dungeon Master Tamaki. I said that that's also my name. You're saying okay, but I said me, referencing the person. I'm saying okay. Well, you didn't specify that. You just said Dungeon Master Tamaki. So the principal explosion works.
Um,
You can move on to my scaling real quick too, because I don't want to take too much from you.
we can move on. Cause I don't really
Okay, cool. So
think.
real quick, Judge, even if you think he lost my point, I mean, even if you think that he won that point, I just have something else for that. So I think that it's logically impossible to beat my character because it's the case that Shiki's omnipotent, which pretty much means that she could do anything that's logically possible. So unless you could explain to me why it's like a logical impossibility, meaning that you can't beat my character in any, meaning that you can't beat my character in any logical possible world, then yeah, I don't think that you could beat me.
Do you have
I
any
mean, it's
scans for
impossible for me to beat you in
that?
any logically possible world. What, that she's omnipotent? Yes, just stated. Got you. Nigga, you're gay as fuck.
Me?
Yes, bro. I thought you were running an actual character. Oh
There's
my
the
god.
actual character, bro. Nigga's canon, bro. He has more.
Nigga.
He is unironically canon. Like I could drop him scans. I mean, he has way stronger stuff. Like
Shut your ass up, nigga.
I just don't feel like
Shut
bringing it
your
out.
ass up.
Yo, Westbound said the
My
same
character.
exact shit.
Oh, I already told you to get Westbound went against this character, but he would actually kill himself. Like he didn't like Fortnite. He's not like this character, but trust.
Looking skins. Is that was said right after she said she's omnipotent. Let me get her saying that she's omnipotent right before so you can understand the context. And she also said that her omnipotence is the reason for why she's capable of anything. Let me get these scans real quick. Actually, I might be right there.
Is she the one saying this? Like this, all these?
Yeah, nigga, she says I'm nigga, right? Unless you think Maki is saying that he's
I only
omnipotent,
see
maybe
one.
that's the movie. Oh, you're talking about all the other skins on Badistan? Yeah. Well, and the one that calls her omnipotent is the narrator, but the scans of her talking about she's capable of doing anything. That's obviously her talking. Let me forward this message. Like, for example, right here. Matter of fact, can you just join my stream because I'm having trouble fucking saving these scans for some reason. It's saying that they're not savable.
You just screenshot them or something. I don't know, bro.
All right, hold on, let me close there. But I don't want to get hold off time. I'm fucking looking for scams. I
don't think it's been close to 50 minutes.
Yo, Tig, how much time you have left?
It's been 33
17 minutes.
Right, cool,
Yo, there's no way I move that fast.
To be fair, I did say, and I will say for everybody else, if you don't get to scaling your character or whatever off time or some shit like that, like it's just, did you refute all their scaling? Did you refute, like, basically?
Bro, fuck. This shit is not
Excuse
saving.
me. Good, bro. I hope it doesn't save, bro.
And I can't fucking screenshot. Nah, nigga, you're gonna have to join my stream. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I can't join the stream, bro.
I got your screenshot. I got you, bro. I got you. Don't worry, bro. I got you.
That's got to be burden or rejoinder, bro. Not joining the stream.
Yeah.
It won't let me, bro. It's loading, bro.
Hold on, bro. I got you, Midnight.
Yo,
Hold
the
on,
actual
man.
bird of rejoinder use.
But I got 500 MS, bro. Like 500. Like
Well, it's letting me forward the booty scans, nigga, like this, but it's not letting me forward the ones that I actually want to send. Why this shit double send? Hey, matter of fact, yo, I'm Trouble. I'm gonna invite you to the server, and I'm just gonna ping the message I want you to send. Just send them on my behalf.
I got you. I got you.
no outside help, bro. Oh no, bro.
Shut that ass up, nigga.
Wait, I already got all of them. Bro. I already got all of them.
I bet. So send the scan of them saying in order to make Shiki an omnipotent being, they connected her to the root or the spiral or whatever, and then send Shiki right after saying that that's the reason for why she could do anything. I already sent like her saying that she's like omnipotent and all that, so should be straight. Pretty much all the scan I need because the context is very clear. Do you actually have them scans, nigga, or do you need me to send you them to the server?
I just sent them.
Oh, let me see. Make sure you sent the right ones. Yeah, okay, let's set the conversation. It should be straight. And then the scan that I sent over the one that TB sent. Fuck, okay, there's that one where she said she can grant any wish, and then she says that's why I'm able to do anything. But she continually just reaffirms the fact that she could pretty much do anything because of the fact that she's connected to the root, and then she uses the word omnipotent to describe this. So when you have these things like her talking about how she can like break reality, grant any wishes, and all this extra shit, in conjunction with this omnipotent scan, right? And there's really only two ways that you can break down the word omnipotence. You could either break it down as being extremely powerful, which would already be its like non-literal definition anyway. That'd be like hyperbolic. And then you could take the literal definition. It just looks like literal application of the definition fits far more better contextually. Because an
And what's the last
omnipotent being
scan
in
for?
like a hyperbolic form can't do anything. What you say?
And what's the last scan from the game?
Tomorrow TV son.
No, TV.
Yeah, that's just him. That's just him sending like what you call
Just
the
random
fact that they
shit.
say that like she has like the omnipotent wish making properties of Grail. Just a reaffirmation of the fact that like the scan that's in above where she says that she can grant any wish is pretty much just a reaffirmation of that.
I mean, I feel like the omnipotent stuff would probably be like wrong, to be honest, because like in the first scan you sent, she didn't even say she grant all wishes. She said she could almost grant all the wish, just like that's what just about would mean, right? So like I think every time you say omnipotent, she's just saying she's super strong.
Via
Possible.
nature, not power. Like for example, like if Shiki were to not Shiki, if Makia were to tell Shiki to do something that she wouldn't want him to do because it goes against her nature. For example, if you were to tell Shiki to kill herself and Shiki wants to live, like obviously like she can't do that. But it's not because of the fact that she doesn't have the power to, it's just nigga, she just doesn't want to.
I mean,
so there is a restriction there, but the restriction isn't power, it's gonna be like obviously her own desire, like if it conflicts with her to like a certain degree. All the other skins that we have outside of that is Shiki talking about how she can like break reality,
based on how she acts,
etc., etc.
Are you saying the restriction to that when she says I could just grant about almost just about anything is based on how she acts, not necessarily
based off
things
of
she
nature,
can't do?
no. Personality, desire, will, whatever word you would really want to use there. But yeah, pretty much it's like restriction, not be a power. And like I said, like when you look at the surrounding context of this conversation, she's literally talking about previously, like how she can literally change like the fundamental structure of reality. She could break it and then break it again. And she has like this omnipotent wish making device that she's connected to, and like all these things. Like it doesn't look like that. She thinks that there's anything that the Holy Grail or my bad, the root itself can't do, right? And if that's the thing that she's deriving her power from, to the point where she'd say that she herself is equal to the root, I doubt that she would put that restriction on herself. That's why I said when you look at the context of the conversation, it's definitely not her saying that the root is restricted in terms of power.
And where are you trying to scale this to? You said like this would mean
Yeah,
like
I'm saying that
she's
she's
logically possible.
Yeah, I'm saying that she's omnipotent. She could do anything that's logically possible. So unless you think that it's logically impossible for your character to beat, well, for your character to lose to my character, then yeah.
I mean,
just say if it's
I
possible,
would
then it would have to
I would have
contextualize
said
it.
like what they're saying, but that's kind of boring. So I actually do think I'll take the route where I say my character just can't. It is logically possible for my character to lose, just because we're friends.
I bet. So why'd you say that?
Okay, so basically, oh, give me 1 second. Let me see. I got the scan.
It was at this moment he knew he fucked up.
You said what?
Nah, bro. I ain't gonna lie, Tamakii.
What's up?
I know that you're the king rat, bro, but you better get hit with even more right here, bro. You just fucked up by agreeing to that,
That's what makes it fun.
bro.
Okay, so basically, so you remember how earlier I said like, I'm the dungeon master, so basically whatever I put into like the verse, whatever it goes with. Basically what I said, right? The storytelling role playing. So basically, I would just say that it's logically impossible to defeat the dungeon master Tamakii, and I have the scan right here that basically says like how you play DnD, right? And everything's up to my decision. So based on my decision, I'm just logically possible to lose. So what would be your responsibility to that?
The logical possibility there would be I'm gonna just reduce it down to like fundamentals of like how you know things. So how do you know that biologically impossible here? That what you call it? You're like okay, I'll word it like this. So do you think that there's a reason for why that it's logically impossible for you to lose, or is that just gonna be a brute fact inside of the verse?
You said, do I think there's a reason?
Yeah.
I think the reason is because I'm just like the number one, I'm the strongest, bro.
Okay. So how do you know that?
Because I decided it. Like that's what the scan said. I decided.
Do you think that
I'm
there's anything that you can know infallibly?
What does that mean? Like
Do you think
no,
that there's
like
any
like objectively type thing?
Yeah, like pretty much. Yeah. Do you think that there's anything that you can know beyond like a shadow of doubt? Like there's no possibility of this thing being wrong.
Me losing?
Yeah. Why? Like how could you justify that?
I mean, I just justified it via the scan. So basically, like in the storytelling verse of DnD,
How do you know that your
the narrative,
how do you know this
it's not
interpretation
interpretation.
is
It's
not
like
possibly wrong?
it's not interpretation. That's like
Everything's
what
literally
it
gonna
is
be
objectively.
interpretation. All it is just like literally all the scan.
Well, no, because I'm making the story,
words on
right?
the
So
page.
when you interpret something from a story,
Yeah, but even that
you
would
try
be
to take things
interpretation.
from what the
Honestly, that
author
could
would want to
possibly be
tell.
false.
I would be the author in said
That
story.
could possibly be false. That's just going to be an interpretation of what you see on the page.
You think like the author could possibly be false before he written
No,
the
I'm
story down?
saying you're trying to derive some sort of power based off of a scan that you sent previously, right? That scan could likely be true, but I'm saying it's possibly false.
I'm talking about
right?
the scan I'm putting right now.
Yeah, any scan that you send, this is like a universal argument to anything that would be inclusive of your knowledge, right? Anything that you send is going to be based off of your interpretation when you try to invoke it inside of the debate, right? So you're saying, I see these words on a page. We both agree to appeal to English, right? So we can have a conversation. Therefore, in accordance to the rules of English, right, this is what we would take from these scans. I'm saying, right, how do you know that the words on the page, beyond a shadow of doubt, because remember, we're talking about infallibility, so no possibility of the things being wrong, would be like the actual things that are on the page? How do you know that?
I mean, the words on the page isn't necessarily like how the game, like how it works. It's just most there to reinforce like what I'm saying to you so you can understand it better, right? Because like we could take all the scans out pretty much. Well, this scan out, we don't really need the scan
That's
I
the
just put
thing.
down.
You literally can't. That's where you're getting your power from.
No, because it's D&D. I roleplay, right? And I'm just telling, and I'm telling you
I
as the author of said thing that I
really
roleplay
understanding.
however I want.
I word it like this. Okay, when you're getting
Maybe
these,
I'm
you're
not.
getting these from so like when you're reading these scans, like your senses are telling you what they're saying, right? Like you're using your eyesight to see the words on the page, right?
Huh? Like I'm using my sense to imagine stuff?
No, you're using your eye. Okay, Tamakii. So you're saying that you have the power to.
Yeah, I'm saying. Yeah, I'm getting what you're saying. I just asked you a question in turn.
And you're doing that based off of the scans that you sent, right? In which you pretty much validate the meaning of them through your senses, right?
No.
Okay, then nigga, how do you know what the fuck the scan says then?
Because that's something I truly know infallibly. Like I just know what it is.
And you know that via what?
And also, if you go back to what I said, imagination.
No,
like,
don't move past that question. You know that.
No,
via
I'm not
what?
moving past it. It's reinforcing
How do you know
because
that? How do you know that?
yeah,
How do you know that?
when we say imagination, which is all the stuff is based off imagination, like right here, there's not
How
based
do you know
off
that it's based
senses.
off of imagination?
I'm imagining it. I don't think
Okay,
imagination.
nigga, how do you know that the verse? How do you know that the verse itself is based off imagination? Nigga, what do you mean? I'm imagining it. That's the most non-answer.
How is that not an answer? Because if you're asking me how do I know the verse is based on imagination,
Okay.
and I'm telling you because I'm imagining it, and I told you the definition of imagination is not based off senses. What you're trying to
Okay, so real quick,
me,
if I were to say that Garden of Sinners, the verse that Shiki's in, is based off of my imagination. Would that be true?
No, because you're not me.
Because of what?
Like we have different properties, right? Because it's logic.
Okay, me and you are different niggas. Why
and
does
I
that lead
know
to your
what
conclusion? That's a non sequitur.
How's
Oh,
that
okay.
non
So
sequitur?
wait, are you omniscient?
Huh?
Are you omniscient? Like, nigga, what the fuck do you mean? It's because I'm me. Like, nigga, are you like some omniscient nigga? Like, you know everything? How do you know this specific thing?
Yeah, probably I am probably omniscient. Yeah.
Okay, why do you think that? Let's go.
I just told you, if I'm omniscient, it's just self-true, right? It's like an axiom.
Oh, I mean, if you're omniscient,
I would know all things are
why.
true, and I only speak truth.
Yeah, if you are omniscient, if you were also omniscient, you would also know the reason for why you're omniscient. So, could you provide that reason?
That was the reason. If you just couldn't understand why it follows through,
okay,
then
wait.
that's
The
just,
reason is
I could
something
put it
that
down in like layman's terms.
literally, I think that you just contradicted you being omniscient.
How you contradict? Holy shit! How do you contradict
Yeah,
it?
because your reasoning was a non sequitur.
A non sequitur? How would it be non sequitur? Like,
yes, your reason was okay. When I asked you why are you omniscient, right? You said because I am. That reason doesn't lead to the conclusion of your argument. That's just going to be a circular argument by definition. This is not sequitur.
I told you why would it be a non sequitur, because if I'm omniscient, then things I said would be self true.
I responded to that. I said that something that would also be inclusive of that statement would be the fact that you would know the reason as well, which is what I specifically asked for. I didn't ask for the conclusion, I asked for the reason that leads to the conclusion. So if you are omniscient, again, you would have the reason. You don't have the reason, therefore you're not omniscient.
So you're saying,
by the way, if you got one thing, even if you try to shift what you say now because of the fact that you misunderstood what I said, you can't do that because you said that you're omniscient. So again, if you try to respond and the response is any different than what you said previously because of the fact that you were wrong previously.
Well, actually, I said earlier that I'm gonna put it in layman's terms so you can understand better, and for everyone else to understand better in the flow of the debate.
Speaking in layman's terms, what do you mean? By definition, you were. Did you not know that too?
No, like more layman's terms, right? Like what?
More. Okay, wait. So you shifted what you said again?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with shit what I'm saying.
Listen, why didn't you say it in a way in which I would be understandable to me, so I didn't have to get you to clarify? Couldn't you do that with your foreknowledge?
My foreknowledge, like precognition?
Yeah, like you would know about the future too, right? Is that not something that's inside of your knowledge?
I just didn't have it on.
Oh wait, so you pick and choose when you don't. So how do I know that you have it on right now? How do I know that you're not lying?
I just turned it on. You want to see my Oh, yo, where's that?
Yeah, let me see inside of your brain so I can see omniscience.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah, I'd say how much time do we have left?
4 minutes 30 seconds.
Oh, this
4 minutes actually, because I just checked that bitch. Yeah, 4 minutes.
Let me see inside of your brain so I can verify your omniscience real quick. At least the fact that you have it on, since apparently you could turn it on and off.
Yeah, give me a second, man.
Because if it's not on, there's actually just no way that I can, appeal to your omniscience to verify any information that you said previously. Like all of those things are outside the question right now. All right. Just to be clear, for the judge,
thank God,
everything that he said before is contingent upon him being omniscient, and which we're trying to prove right now. So if he doesn't prove he's omniscient, everything that he said that was in question was not proven in debate. Go ahead, Tamakii.
Yeah, hold on, hold it up. There we go.
Yeah, I don't think that like a cat meowing is verifying your omniscience. We could just conclude.
No, turn my camera on, bro, because the shit wasn't working. I had to plug it in.
Well, no one saw it. It was all dark.
Yeah, no, I got to turn it out because I'm preparing it, bro. Hold up.
I thought you turned it off.
No, I unplugged it by accident.
Wait, accident? Define accident.
What?
Hold on, nigga. Wait, hold on. You can do accidents in your omniscient? Really?
Yes.
How? How is that logically possible?
Like I slip, like I'm walking, I slip.
That requires you to not have information or knowledge of the fact that something's there for you to slip on that thing.
You can know something and still slip. Like what?
Say that again?
You have knowledge of something there and still slip.
No, not at the time in which you're walking. No.
Okay.
So like you could have knowledge retrospectively or prior to you slipping, but in the midst of you slipping, it probably slipped your mind if you're saying it's an accident. Otherwise, you intentionally walked into the thing.
Oh, yeah, this would be my brain right here. You see how
okay,
it's like
so
really
I'm
big
also
in the back?
That as
It's my
evidence.
forehead.
For the judge, I'll take the point that he just moved off of as more evidence for the fact that he's on.
No, I'm going back to the original thing I was supposed to play before I go here. Like what?
Yeah, sure, you could do that, but right as of now, you didn't respond to the thing I said previously. Okay. So you could do this, or you could respond to said previously. But if this debate does conclude before this shit gets concluded on, that point just does go through. You didn't make an argument against that.
So now I got the thing now with the brain, which is like the main point. Now I can talk about the accidents and about the accident thing. Like,
Where's the brain?
Well,
I just see darkness. Is
You
your
see
brain
darkness?
just dark if there's nothing inside of your brain?
No, let me just.
Oh, okay, I see. I see like a light skinned nigga with like a do rag on. I don't see a brain though.
There we go. I just told you, like that's the fundamental of my brain. My brain's just, it just works differently. It looks
Brain's like a
different,
do
you know.
rag, nigga.
You know,
Nah,
like
I don't see anything inside of
that's
it.
not
I
a
can't
that's not
verify
a
this
do rag.
information. Well, a beanie about nah, that's not a beanie. That's like a fucking
Yo.
what's that shit called, nigga? About that, nigga.
Oh, he's a fake black nigga. Oh hell nah, bro.
But shit,
Yo,
yeah,
how much
I
time we
don't
got
see
left,
that
real
inside of
quick?
your brain. There's no way that I can verify that shit omniscient or not, bro. That's just a big ass head.
No, that is inside. Like it's inside out.
Oh, your brain's inside out. Well, there's no way that from me looking at your brain that I can't verify that you're not an alien. So you could be omniscient, you could also be an alien. Equal interpretation.
I mean, both goes through. I could be an omniscient alien.
I mean, yeah, that can be the case, or you could just be a dumbass alien. Shit, who knows?
I'm gonna spend my cranberry juice.
I'm
now.
gonna be real. It's been 4 minutes, nigga. I'm
No,
trying
the
to
fuck
be
it's
real.
not. They got like 30 seconds left.
Not a lot of
Nigga,
I eat
yeah,
you
shut up.
Yo,
Nigga
niggas,
said-
I've learned from these tourneys that niggas do not know how to tell time. And so
That's just Sasuke and Ichi. Mostly Sasuke do.
This nigga said there's 30 seconds left, bro. You milk it out every second you can get out of this debate, bro.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, look, every second of it, bro.
Nigga's a trooper.
okay,
I guess-
there we go. Yeah, now the time's over. I ain't gonna lie. So yeah, so
Yo, Midnite,
all right.
did you
I guess
enjoy
I'm
yourself?
gonna
He said
That
that's a
enjoy-
do rag. This nigga get a ban.
That
Wait, how
fire
do I-
Midnite? That debate fire?
The legendary reverse Tamakii debate y'all been pinging for, bro.